I should have seen it coming, not from some explosion or a dramatic shift, but from the subtle changes, the quiet signs that only make sense in hindsight. The way she'd take longer to answer me. Her phone never left her side anymore. The silence that replaced our easy banter during dinner. We used to talk about pointless stuff, what her coworkers said, what we'd do that weekend. But lately, dinner felt more like sitting next to a stranger. I remember the moment it really sank in. We were on the couch, and I was telling her about a flooded pipe at work, how the building manager nearly passed out. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. That was when I realized she was somewhere else, mentally gone, even though she was sitting right next to me. We'd been married 6 years, Betty and me. We had a simple life, nothing flashy, but dependable. No big sparks, but no big disasters either. I thought that meant we were solid. Turns out I was wrong. It was a Thursday when everything shifted. I was in our bedroom sorting through some mail, just bills, the usual, and she walked in, stood there in the doorway like she was trying to figure out how to start. Then she said it. "We need to talk." I didn't move, just looked at her. "I've been seeing someone," she said, eyes fixed on the floor. I didn't plan for it. I nodded, slow. "Who?" She hesitated. "It's Alan." That name felt like a punch. Alan, her old coworker, the guy who always popped up in her comments with dumb inside jokes. The one she said was just harmless fun. My voice stayed steady. "How long?" 2 months, she said. "We haven't slept together." "But you're planning to?" She didn't answer. That was enough. I sat down on the edge of the bed, hands on my knees. I wasn't angry, not yet, just cold, like something inside switched off and everything was moving in slow motion. She stepped closer. "I don't want a divorce, Roger. I'm just confused. I care about you. I do." I looked at her. "You're telling me you care while thinking about someone else?" "I didn't expect this," she said, voice tightening. "Alan, he listens. He makes me feel seen." I let the silence do the talking for a bit. Then, "So what do you want?" She sighed. "Time. I need space. To figure this out. For me. For us." I stood up. "You're asking to try someone else out while keeping me waiting. That's what this is." She started to protest, but nothing came out, just stood there, caught in the truth. I walked out of the room. Not because I didn't have anything to say, but because I already had all the answers I needed. She left the next morning. No boxes, no dramatic exit. Just a single overnight bag and her favorite coat. The green one she always tied in a double knot. She didn't say where she was going, but I didn't need to ask. I already knew. She paused in the doorway as I sat at the dining table with my coffee. I didn't look up. "I don't know how long I'll be gone," she said. "This isn't goodbye. It's just time apart." I didn't respond. She stood there for a beat, like she expected a reaction. Maybe tears, maybe a desperate plea. All she got was the sound of my spoon tapping against the mug. She left. I waited until I heard the car pull away before I stood up. The silence that followed didn't feel like peace. It felt like something hollowing out the walls around me. I didn't reach out to anyone. Didn't post anything cryptic or text friends for sympathy. I just started cleaning. Took down the hallway mirror she insisted on hanging. Threw out the aloe plant she'd kept in the bathroom. I wasn't angry. I just wanted the space to be mine again. By midday, I was sitting at my desk with a blank document open. I titled it Separation Planning. Not out of revenge, out of clarity. That night, she sent a message. "Hope your day was okay. I'll check in tomorrow." I stared at it for a moment, then typed back, "Take your time. No questions. No, I miss you." No asking where she was or who she was with, because deep down, I already knew this wasn't a break. It was a test to see if Alan could give her something she thought I couldn't. What she didn't know was that I wasn't going to wait around while she figured it out. She thought she had time, but she was already running out of it. In the second week, her messages changed. Longer, less like check-ins and more like confessions. "I've been thinking about us a lot. It's strange being away. Alan's not what I expected. I miss talking to you. I read it twice. Didn't respond right away. The next morning, I replied with, "I'm doing all right. Hope you're well." Short, neutral. That shook her, I could tell. Her messages started to shift, less sure of herself, more uncertain. She asked how I was sleeping, if the house felt different, if I'd move anything around. She even mentioned therapy, not for her, but for us. It was like watching someone slowly realize a lifeboat they jumped into had a hole in it. I started getting my paperwork in order. A guy I work with, James, had gone through a similar situation. Quiet guy, sharp. He told me about a lawyer he used. Said she was discreet, efficient, no drama. Her name was Vanessa. I emailed her that night. By the next afternoon, I had a consultation booked. Betty didn't know. She still thought this was a commercial break, that she could come back and pick up where we left off. But I wasn't pressing pause. I was closing the book. One night, she called me from a number I didn't recognize. I almost ignored it. Her voice was soft. "Hey, it's me. Yeah, I figured. I just wanted to hear your voice." I didn't say anything. "Alan and I," she hesitated. "It's not what I thought. He hasn't changed. Still moody, doesn't listen. I thought I was stepping into something real, but it feels like a memory I shouldn't have chased." Still, I didn't give her the comfort she was fishing for. "Well," I said, "sometimes the past days buried for a reason." She went quiet. "Do you think we could talk in person?" she asked. "Maybe," I said, "when the time's right." Then I hung up. 3 weeks after she left, I was in Vanessa's office, signing the papers. She was everything James said, efficient, clear, no frills. She reviewed the prenup, drafted the terms, laid everything out step by step. No room for games. No drama. Just a clean, final end of something that had already been gone for a while. I went straight to the bank, opened a new account, rerouted my paycheck, and updated the bills still in both our names. Quiet, methodical steps. Meanwhile, Betty was unraveling. Her messages started sounding wistful. "Remember that lake trip when we got caught in the storm and spent all night in that little diner?" I keep thinking about it. Then came another. "I've been journaling, trying to figure out what I really want. I think I made a mistake. Alan, he's not you, but it was the last one that told me reality had finally caught up to her. Can we talk? I'd like to come by. No pressure. Just talk, please." I gave it a day and answered simply, "Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., just a conversation." She arrived at 9:57. Same coat, different eyes, tired, guarded, hopeful. As she stepped in, she glanced around like she didn't recognize the place. I'd moved the furniture, painted the walls a shade lighter, even swapped out the kitchen lighting. "You repainted?" she asked. "Yeah. Looks different. Feels different." We sat down. No wine, no hugs, just space and silence. When she spoke, her voice was soft, like something practiced. I thought I needed to explore, to see what else was out there. But Alan isn't it. He's still selfish. Still thinks the world owes him. I see that now. I stayed still, steady. Then I stood up, walked over to a drawer, pulled out a folder and set it in front of her. "What's this?" she asked. "Clarity. In writing." She opened it. Divorce papers. Her hand shook slightly. "You're serious." "I was serious the day you left. You just didn't believe me." She stared at the papers like they were in a foreign language. "You don't have to do this. We can fix it. I'm ready now. I get it." I didn't budge. "I'm not angry, Betty, but I'm not rebuilding something you chose to walk away from. That's not how this works." She reached out, fingertips grazing the folder. I was lost. I made a dumb decision. I thought Alan could help me figure things out, but he just reminded me why I left him in the first place. That was the first time she admitted it. Alan wasn't just a co-worker. He was an ex, someone she had history with. Someone she had gone back to. She'd never told me that. Not in 6 years. Just Alan from the office. "So while I was here trying to make sense of it all, you went back to your ex?" I said. "I panicked," she whispered. "I didn't know how to talk to you. You're always so calm, Roger. I didn't think you'd fight for us." "That's the thing," I said. "You took my silence for weakness. But it wasn't. It was patience. I needed to see who you were when you thought I wasn't looking. Her face tensed. So this whole time, you were planning to leave me? No, I was planning to survive you. Her voice cracked. What about counseling? One session? We owe that to everything we built. I stood. You owed that before you left. She looked up at me, wide-eyed. You're really doing this? I already did. You just didn't notice. She sat for a moment, stunned, then finally stood, clutching the folder like it might somehow come for her. I guess this is it. I nodded. It was for me 3 weeks ago. This is just the paperwork. She walked out without turning back. No hug, no tears, just the sound of her footsteps and a car door closing. That was the last time she stepped inside my house, but not the last time I thought about how easy it had been for her to leave it. It's been 2 months since she signed. No appeals, no midnight calls, just a scanned copy from her lawyer. Silence. The house doesn't feel like a memory anymore. It feels like mine. I swapped the bedspread, donated her favorite reading chair, got rid of that print she loved of the city skyline. She said it reminded her of possibility. I always thought it looked like pollution. I didn't post anything, didn't update my status or make a big declaration. I just moved on, quietly with intention. Betty hasn't reached out, not even a text. But sometimes I see her watching my stories. That's enough. I don't need her to say she's sorry. I don't need some grand moment of closure. The truth no one tells you is how freeing it is when you stop waiting to be chosen and start choosing yourself. 2 weekends ago, I took a drive north. No plan, no map. Found a small town with a coffee shop and a bookstore. I sat there for hours, reading, writing a little. A woman named Clara struck up a conversation. She complimented the book I had in hand. We talked about second chances and how healing isn't loud. It's quiet, gentle. We exchanged numbers. No expectations, just something simple and honest. On the drive home, I realized I hadn't thought about Betty all weekend. Not once. Not what she was doing. Not whether she missed me. She had become background noise in a life that finally felt tuned right. This wasn't about revenge. It wasn't about winning. It was about waking up in the morning, making coffee, and not bracing for the door to slam. It was about being a version of myself that wasn't shaped by someone else's choices. Last Saturday, I ran into her at Whole Foods, frozen section. I reached for peas. She was grabbing oat milk. We both paused. "Hey," she said, barely audible. "Hey." We stood there, still, while people moved around us. "You look good," she offered. "Thanks. You too." It wasn't true, but I figured she needed to hear it. She glanced at my cart. "Cooking for someone?" "Just me." I smiled. She nodded, like she didn't know how to process that. "I keep thinking about that last morning," she said. "You were so calm. I thought you'd fall apart." "Yo, fight." I shrugged. "That's not how I fight." She laughed, a tired kind of laugh. "I see that now." There was a long silence. She shifted her weight like she wanted to say more, but didn't know how. "You happy?" she finally asked. I paused. Not because I didn't know the answer, but because I wanted the silence to say something too. "Yeah," I said. "I am." She smiled. Not bitter, not regretful, just small. "That's good." No hug. No, maybe we can catch up, or coffee sometime. We nodded and walked in opposite directions. That night, I made pasta, played Coltrane, ate on the couch, bowl in hand, like I used to in college. And it hit me. The man she left behind would have clung to that moment in the store, would have replayed it, imagined different endings. But me? I just finished my dinner, watched a movie, and slept like someone who had nothing left to prove, because the story didn't end in heartbreak. It ended in peace.